Hello, welcome to the MustBe Webflow template video tutorial. In this video I will guide you step by step through editing the content and customizing the look of the MustBe template. First thing first, edit the content in the desktop breakpoint view. That's the easiest way. No worries, all the changes will be reflected on other breakpoints automatically. In Webflow, the content is placed in several ways. There's static content, there are symbols, and then there's CMS content. The static content has a blue frame when you click on it, and it's plain white in the navigator. You just double-click the text and edit it directly. Symbols are highlighted in green when you click them. Also, they're green in the navigator. You double-click a symbol to go inside it. I'll tell you in more details about symbols and how to edit them in a moment. The last type of content is the CMS content. It's purple on the canvas, and in the navigator. You don't edit it here at all, you edit it in the CMS panel. But I'll tell you about it later in the video. So, symbols. You may notice that in the case of some pages, the whole page content is enclosed in a symbol. You just select it, then double-click, and you're in. Now you can change all that's inside, be it static content or symbols. Yes, there can be symbols inside symbols. The first symbol we will look at closely is the menu, because it is a symbol, and its copies are on the other pages. Whatever you change inside the menu will change on each and every page. Let's look inside. Double-click. We have a logo, menu items, address, phone and email, social media links, and a tagline. Let's start with the logo. To place here your own logo, first, you have to delete the template logo. Then select the element named your logo, go to its settings, here, and replace the image. After you upload your logo to the website, click on it in the Assets panel, and done. The address, phone and email, and the tagline are static content, so you edit them directly. As for the menu items, they're symbols, but you don't go inside them. Instead, you edit their properties, here. You set the text and targeted page. If you don't need some menu item, you can just select and delete it. If you need more menu items, just copy the last one and paste it. Remember to set its properties. The same goes for the social media links. You change their text and their target URL and properties. To go out of the symbol, click on the button here in the top left corner. You may notice that the whole menu symbol has a switch show tagline. It's here in case you would like to use the same menu as everywhere else but without the tagline. You switch it off and the tagline will not be shown. Another symbol is a button. Here you don't go inside the symbol, but you need to set its properties, text and targeted page. The difference is that if you make a change inside a symbol, for example, if you change the color of one of the elements, every copy of the symbol will change. In the case of buttons, we want each copy to have its own text and targeted page. That's why we use properties. When you change a property, it will change only for this copy of the symbol. This way, you can use different text for other copies of the symbol. Statistics are symbols as well. In properties, set the number and text of the first statistic that will appear initially, and set the number and text of the second statistic that will appear when the mouse is over the statistic symbol. Because you make the changes in properties, you can use different data and other copies of statistics. The call to action section has a title symbol, subtitle symbol, and a button symbol. You go inside each of these elements to change them once for all the pages. The footer is a symbol too. You go inside and edit blue elements directly. And green symbols and properties. Same as with the menu or call to action elements. You make these changes once for all the pages. The last type of content is the CMS content. Elements that are purple are linked to the content management system. You can't edit them in the designer. Instead, you will need to go to the CMS panel. Whatever you change in the CMS will change on relevant pages automatically. Let's take a look at changing CMS items. Open a collection, like projects, to edit its items. Each item is one project. You may want to turn on the sort order column and use it to sort the items and make them appear in order. Filling the fields in a CMS collection is rather straightforward, but let's go through it just in case. The CMS name is just for your own use, and it's displayed only in the CMS panel. The actual title of the project that will be displayed on the website is here. If you'd like to change the order in which the projects are displayed, use this field here. Here, you can change the project's category. And here's where you need to upload the thumbnail image of the project. You can upload a color photo here. It will be displayed on the website with duotone effect automatically. Here's a place for describing the project. Instead of being simple text, this field is rich text content, which means that you can select any part of the text and set it to be one of several types of headlines, a block quote, or you can make the selected part of text bold, and so on. Let's make it headline 3. Here's an additional useful tip for creating a horizontal rule that separates parts of text. Type some text on a new line. For clarity, I'm using dashes, but it can be whatever. Select it and set it as H6. Now, on the published page, this text will be automatically displayed as a horizontal rule. So this is the bare minimum. If you'd like, you can add a photo to the content. The photos will display with duotone effect and reveal their colors on mouse over again automatically. You can even change the color of the duotone effect, and I'll show you how to do it later in the video. Another text content, another photo, and the third text content. One important thing you need to try to remember is to set the previous and next CMS items. It's needed by the website to display navigation between single CMS items like projects or blog articles. This is the very first item, so we don't need to set the previous one, but in the next project field there should be selected the second project. When you're done making changes, click the Save button. As I mentioned earlier, the changes will be automatically placed in the design. You can see them right away in the designer, and after you publish the project on the live website. For now, all the changes you made were on the home page. Additionally, you've made some changes in the CMS. What about the other pages of the website? Let's go to the projects page. All the symbols that you've edited on the home page are already set here as well. The menu, call to action, the footer, and so on. The projects here are sourced from the same CMS collection as on the home page. If you wish, you can change the data and the statistic to something different from the home page, or you can change the title of the page. It's pretty much the same thing with the news, reviews, and team pages. Most of the content is either sourced dynamically from the CMS, or it consists of symbols that you've already edited. There are a few more static elements that you may want to change on the contact page, like titles, subtitles, labels of input fields. Regarding template pages, these are the purple ones on the list of pages. It's all the symbols that you've already set up, or it's sourced from the CMS. Now, what if you'd like to add a new page? When creating a new page from scratch, there would be nothing for you to base your work on, and quite a few things that you would need to keep in mind and add. But there's a much simpler way. Find the page name template page on the list of pages, open its settings, and duplicate it like this. Give it a new name, save it, and done. This way, you don't have to worry about maintaining the specific structure of elements, such as keeping the content contained in the element with the class hide when page is loading. You don't need to copy the preloader from one of the other pages, it's already here. You don't need to add animations to the page trigger for the preloader and mouse cursor to work. It's all already set. All you need to do on this page now is to edit the existing elements, deleting ones that you don't need or duplicating ones that you need more of. Text content is primarily within rich text elements, which you are already familiar with. The photos are symbols and will automatically be displayed in duotone. On mouseover, they will appear in color. You can change the source of the photos here. Now that you know how to edit the contents of the template, let's talk about customizing its appearance. Let's start with the colors. You can change pretty much every color of the template. Here's how. If you go to the Variables panel, you will find the color palette that is used by various elements of the design. We will go through them one by one. The first one is the color of the background on all the pages. Let's change it to a slightly warmer gray. You can see the change live after you publish the project. Or not, it was a slight change after all. As the name suggests, the main color is used in the template the most. It's for texts, frames, buttons, and navigation. If you'd like to change the color of all the elements that were originally white, you can do it here. Notice how the white geometric decorative elements changed, as well as the main big text. By changing BG blob colors, you can change the colors of blurred gradients in the background. The accent color is used for linear decorative elements. Look here. Remember how I told you earlier that you can change the color of the photo overlay? You can do it by changing the photo color variable. Let's use the same color as for the main color. And here's how it looks live. It also works with the photos that have the color transition effect on mouseover. You can also adjust the color of illustrations. The easiest way to do it is to go to the Style Guide page. Then you need to scroll down to this section here named Color of the Illustrations. Click on the illustration. Go to its Style panel. At the very bottom you may find the Hue Rotate filter. Click on it. Now, using the angle control, you can adjust the color to your liking. The change that you make here will take place for all the illustrations on the website. If you'd like to change any of the illustrations to a different image, you can do it on the same page, in the Style Guide. Click on the illustration, go inside the symbol, replace image, upload the image. Select it in the Assets library. Done, you can go out of the symbol now. Because it's a symbol, the change will take place everywhere where this particular illustration is used. In conclusion of this video tutorial, here are a few last pointers on miscellaneous or more advanced topics. You may have noticed that some elements, like links or photos, have a custom cursor look in animations. But when you create a link and publish the project, you may see that the cursor doesn't change. All you need to do for the animation to work is to select your link, go to the Style panel, and add a special class to the element. Start typing cursor link, and here it is below in the suggestions. Add this class to the element, and you're done. Now the template will automatically animate the cursor when you hover on the link. If you'd like to add a special cursor to an image, or an image that is inside a link block, you may want to use similar, but slightly different cursor. You may proceed the same way as with the link cursor, but since this photo already has a class and its settings, let's do it differently. Add an empty div that we will use as a wrapper, and instead of adding the cursor class to the photo, add it to the wrapper. It will work anyway. Put the photo inside the wrapper, done. Here's another utility you may want to use, specifically on floating pages. By default, when you click anywhere on the floating page, the page zooms in or out. This means that when you place a link on such a page, when a user clicks on it, the zoom animation will be noticeable right before the browser jumps to the new page. To avoid that, you can use an exit animation by adding a special class to your link. Alternatively, since the link already has the class cursor link that triggers cursor animation, you can create a wrapper div, place the link inside it, and add the class to the wrapper. The class is link_inter_page. Now, when the user clicks on the link, there's no zoom animation, but the preloader animation is displayed twice, in quick succession, one when exiting the page, and another while loading the newly opened page. previously when I've shown you how to change illustration images. Remember how I mentioned that these illustrations are symbols, so when you change, for example, the main image on the home page, it will change also on the other pages. That's the default behavior of the template. But what if you'd like to have different images on different pages? Here's a solution: adding a property to the symbol which will override the default photo. Here's how to do it. Go inside the symbol, then, with the image being selected, go to its Settings panel. In Image Setting, find Image, and click on this purple circle here. Click on Create and connect a new property. Name it however you want, and click Create. Done. You can go out of the symbol. The image that was already set inside the symbol will be used as default, but you will be able to change it for any instance of the symbol. Let's change it here on the home page. Now, on the home page you have the new image, while on the other pages the default one is used. Last things last, it may happen that you are a more advanced Webflow user, and you would like to dig into the template and redesign it on your own. At the 1440 breakpoint, the area of the page is huge, to allow for floating. But while designing, you may want to preview what you're doing without the necessity of working blind and constantly publishing the project. To achieve that, find the element floating page on 1440 and up, and add some temporary combo class to it. Now, when you add top and left margin, you can easily move the whole design around using margins. If you'd like to see how it looks in the zoomed out view, find the element mask big floating page here. Add some temporary combo class to it, and hide it. Just make sure to delete both your temporary classes when you're done with making changes from mask big floating page and from floating page on 1440 and up. It's very important to remember to change these two elements back to what they were, otherwise the page will not display correctly. My boss told me that I'm wasting time going into that much detail with this video. If you found it helpful, please hit the like button to prove him wrong. And this concludes the MustBe template tutorial. Thanks for watching.